There are moments in war when survival depends on one decision, one pilot, one aircraft, one choice. On February 15th, 1944, in the waters of Kavieng Harbor in the Bismarck Sea, American air crews were dying in the water. Japanese anti-aircraft guns lined the shore. Patrol boats hunted survivors. Smoke covered the harbor, and flying toward that chaos was one of the slowest aircraft in the U.S. Navy, a black-painted PBY Catalina. At its controls was a 27-year-old former small-town lawyer from Arkansas. His name was Nathan Gordon. What he did that morning remains one of the most extraordinary rescue missions in aviation history. The aircraft. The PBY Catalina was never meant to charge into battle. It was large, slow, ungainly, powered by twin radial engines, cruising at barely 120 miles per hour. It was designed for patrol work, long hours over open ocean searching for submarines. It could land on water. That was its greatest strength. But in a defended harbor under artillery fire, landing a Catalina was almost suicidal. Its aluminum hull could not withstand shell impacts. Its defensive guns were minimal. Its size made it an easy target. And yet, that morning, it would become something else entirely. A lifeboat. Before the war, Nathan Gordon never planned to be a war hero. He grew up in Morrilton, Arkansas, studied law, opened a modest legal practice. He joined the National Guard part-time, like many young men of his generation. Then Pearl Harbor happened. Like thousands of others, Gordon left civilian life behind and entered flight training. Instructors noted something about him early. He did not panic. He processed information quickly. He made decisions calmly. That trait would matter more than any technical skill. By late 1942, he was flying with the patrol squadron in the Southwest Pacific. Rescue duty. Dumbo missions. Most were uneventful. This one would not be. February 15th, 1944. American bombers attacked Kavieng, a heavily defended Japanese stronghold. The mission was dangerous. Low-level bombing runs against concentrated anti-aircraft positions. Several aircraft were hit. Crews parachuted into the harbor. Some never surfaced. Others clung to life rafts as Japanese guns continued firing. Gordon received the distress calls. He was not ordered to land inside the harbor. Standard doctrine warned against it. Rescue aircraft were not to be sacrificed. But from the air he could see them, men in the water. He turned toward the harbor. First landing, the sea was rough, swells rising over 15 feet. Landing a flying boat in those conditions risked structural failure. But Gordon descended anyway. Shell bursts erupted around him as he committed to the water. The Catalina slammed against the waves. The impact rattled the airframe. Water forced its way into the hull. Still, the aircraft remained afloat. His crew hauled 5 injured airmen aboard. The engines roared again. Under continued fire, Gordon forced the heavy aircraft back into the sky. One rescue complete. He could have left. He didn't. Second and third rescues. More rafts were spotted. Japanese patrol boats were approaching survivors. Time was measured in seconds. Gordon landed again and again. Each impact damaged the aircraft further. Metal seams split. Water flooded compartments. The hull weakened. By the third landing, the Catalina was no longer structurally sound. It was overloaded with wounded men. It was leaking fuel. Fighter cover had departed. He was alone. Most pilots would have withdrawn. Gordon turned back one more time. The fourth landing, the final group of survivors drifted dangerously close to shore. Japanese guns were now fully alert. The Catalina touched down hard. This time the damage was catastrophic. The hull began breaking apart. Water poured in faster than it could be pumped out. But the men were pulled aboard. 20 survivors. 20 lives. The aircraft was sinking. Engines sputtered. Partially flooded. Under normal procedure, it should have been abandoned. Gordon attempted restart anyway. Against probability, both engines fired. Escape. The Catalina limped across the water, barely able to lift clear. Japanese shells exploded beneath it. The aircraft clawed for altitude. It did not truly fly. It staggered. A Navy destroyer eventually arrived offshore, moving at full speed. Gordon guided the crippled Catalina toward it. One final landing. All 29 men aboard were transferred safely. Moments later, the Arkansas Traveler slipped beneath the surface. It never flew again. Aftermath for his actions, Nathan Gordon received the Medal of Honor. It remains the only Medal of Honor awarded to a PBY Catalina pilot. His entire crew received silver stars. After the war, Gordon returned to Arkansas. He practiced law. He entered politics. He rarely spoke of that day. To him, it was simply a duty performed. Closing war often highlights destruction, but sometimes it reveals something else: the willingness to risk everything for strangers. A slow patrol aircraft became a lifeboat. A lawyer became a legend. 4 landings, 20 lives saved, against artillery, against physics, against reason. Nathan Gordon did not fight to destroy. He fought to rescue, and because he turned toward the harbor instead of away from it, 20 men went home,